Hello and welcome. We are Prosperity Gaming from the realm Terran Mill EU, and this is Yor'sahj, the Unsleeping Heroic mode. There are two changes from the normal mode, and those are that there is one additional slime that spawns, and a void bolt that he shoots at the tank hits harder. Now, the most important thing is of course the extra slime, and which slime combinations are most dangerous to your raid.
I'm sexy and I know it. I'm sexy and I know it.
We did this fight with 1 tank, 2 healers and 7 DPS. It's doable with 3 healers as well. However, I recommend you try out 2 healers. If you have the option to bring a DK tank, you should definitely do so. More about that later.
As in normal mode, we started with killing the purple slime, so the healers could freely spam heal as much as they wanted. But soon we found out that the incoming damage with certain combos was just way too hard to manage. So we started prioritizing the green slime instead, since having 5 melee DPSs, we couldn't effectively cleave down the adds or the mana void without taking unhealable raid damage. And with this tactic we effectively eliminated the most AoE and healing intended slime for our group, which was the green one, or if the green was absent, we took down the yellow one. This was basically the only 2 we ended up killing at this try. The first prior was green and the second was yellow.
Yeah, the green one was a killer for us. Running 5 melee DPS, it was not very nice, especially when we had to kill adds and mana voids and all that, and stack up together to AoE efficiently. So if you have somewhat melee heavy group, I definitely recommend to take down the green slime above all else. The yellow one is a lot nastier and heroic than it is in normal, obviously because all the abilities in heroic hits a lot harder, and it's much more important to actually execute the tactic properly, and having the yellow one requires you to do that twice in a row. So the yellow one was actually a no-brainer as well, and if you can do some kind of spread out elaborate tactic and save the green one and always kill the yellow one, I recommend that instead of taking the green one.
Next we did was specific assignments for a few players. First set of blobs, we kept our sub-rogue and feral druid on the boss to gain extra DPS on him, while the others killed the green slime. Whenever we got new blobs and had any adds up, the feral druid stayed on the adds and our sub-rogue on the boss. If we needed more DPS on the blob, the feral druid helped out after black adds were down, and if it got really tight, the sub-rogue would shadow step to help out.
Obviously the specific assignments will be specific for your group and will differ from our group. However, you will need to min-max everything from movement to these specific small assignments using different classes for what they're best at to meet the hard and rage timer, especially if you run 3 healers. Also, when we were learning to fight and as we were DPSing the blobs, I would usually announce to the raid what combination we get in order, so that everyone was aware exactly what was going to happen, they were ready with cooldowns, and we could also decide what raid cooldowns to use.
Since most people aren't used to the purple slime, let's quickly go through that one. Each heal causes the target to take 1 stack. If the target gets 5 stacks, he will blow up, which means goodbye to him. So purple is really a retard check for healers. There are a few things that won't proc this, but most direct heals will. Likewise, HOTS once applied will proc 1 stack. But a healing rain or HOTS applied before the boss gets the buff does not proc a stack on players.
There are quite a few things that does not proc stacks that you can use and you should use to your fullest potential, such as Prayer of Mending, Word of Glory, any Death Strike, self heals for Death Knights overall. A Healing Rain or Holy Sanctuary, if you have that, will proc a stack on everyone who gets a tick from it. But as long as you stay in it, you will only get 1 tick. But if you go out of it and inside it again, you get another tick. So it might be worth it. It's up for your judgment. But there you go. You need to find what fits you best.
Next, we also rotated DPS cooldowns whenever we had yellow and black slimes, since you get 2 sets of ads with that combo. We had our 2 DPS warriors taking turns to blow cooldowns on the black ads, when the rest of us did their normal AoE whenever we could. Another thing worth mentioning is that since we only used 1 tank and 2 healers, at the end of a phase when the new slimes were spawning, the tank would have really high stacks of void bolts, so he couldn't just run off and DPS the slime. He has to stay in range of the healers to get back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the black and yellow plus X combo means you lose a lot of DPS on the boss, because you need to DPS that second pack of ads as well. So if you can't take the green and kill the yellow one in that combo, it will get you more DPS on the boss if you have problems with the enrage. If you look closely on the raid frames during our purple phases, you can see why it's so good with a DK tank on this fight. A DK tank can get back on his feet with very little assistance from healers without proccing 5 stacks. Also on this next set of ads here, you can see that it's yet a quite heavy one, and we overdid it with raid series on a previous one, so we don't have anything for this. On top of that, we failed and proc 5 stacks on one guy in the raid, so we almost wiped there. So my advice there is to always save at least 1 raid CD in case you get 2 heavy combos in a row, and healer cooldowns should be used accordingly as well. Also keep in mind that Bloodlust is not a good CD for healers in purple phase, so if you want to use that as a healer cooldown, you should use it when you don't have a purple. hope this video helped you and your guild a little bit. And if you liked it, stay tuned because we'll be doing more of these. Until then, goodbye.